Hello, welcome back to another episode Aussie Footy Show presented by the BJ Show. This episode, Aidan and BJ, myself, will share all round 2 thoughts and reviews. Then we'll get straight into round 3 with predictions for Aidan and BJ will share. We'll also have a big announcement. Stay tuned very soon here on the Aussie Footy Show presented by the BJ Show. Let's get back on to the show as Aidan will start off with round 2 reviews and thoughts. Take it away, Aidan.
All right, Ben, thank you for having me on the program. And hello, everyone out there listening. We're going to get straight into my review of round 2 for the AFL season, and first off on the Thursday night, Carlton versus Hawthorn, and Hawthorn are blowing me away with how they are playing this season. They are rightfully leading the league 3-0, and the way they've been playing, I was concerned about them bringing players to upset the balance of that side, but it's worked out really well for them who they've brought in. They've started this year 3-0. I don't know if that's going to hold too much longer. They've got some other big games coming up, but Hawthorn definitely a team to look out for. They played really well. You know, the Mosquito Fleet's at it again. You look at Carlton. I am starting to get worried about Carlton. I said Carlton are in my top 4. I called them my premiers. That is looking, I'm very shaky about that now, and there is something very wrong down at Carlton. I don't know if it's the way they're being coached. I don't know if it's their playing style per se. I don't know if maybe they're a player short through injury, suspension or whatever, but it's just not clicking for Carlton this year. And, you know, they start 0-2, and whenever you get behind the 8 ball, it's not a good start to the year, so they need to look for a way to improve, and I just don't know where it's going to come. So Carlton have to look probably within themselves during the week and find that next gear so they can go over their opponents in round 3.
Thanks, Aidan. For your round 2 first game, Carlton and Hawthorn. BJ, it's absolutely now time to take it away with your thoughts and reviews for the Carlton Hawthorn at the MCG Thursday Night Footy. Take it away. We are back at the MCG for Thursday Night Footy. 62,735 fans were packed at the MCG. What should be a Carlton victory as they take on Hawthorn, the most amazing, skillful team you can say. It was a better fight for Carlton. I think they did really well, but well done to Hawthorn. Another win, having after 3 rounds, including the opening round 1, and then getting into round 2 against Carlton. So I gotta say, like two games for Carlton. You know, opening round, like first round against Richmond. You know that they were up and have so much, and then you know they were in the fight a much better, but didn't hold on that win, and they need to find a way. But I am unsure with Carlton. You know, they looked really good last year, but you know, it's always different. But I'm all the best with when they take on Footscray Bulldogs, Western Bulldogs, Friday night, Marble Stadium, and hopefully they'll get a better performance. But heads up, Carlton, good luck next week. And yeah, with Hawthorn, like I mentioned, look, it's been a really important performance from Hawthorn. They have to keep doing what they're doing. They are finding ways to perform, but they do take on, and we'll share very soon, against GWS, and first time season 2025 they'll go in for apprenticeship points as they head to University Tasmania Stadium in Launceston. It'll be a good game against the Giants, and they always find a way, always good battles, but yeah, all heads up and play well next week. BJ, let's now hear your thoughts and reviews for the 100th anniversary Footscray Bulldogs take on Collingwood Magpies. Take it away, where we are now heading into the second MCG clash. Friday night footy. It's great to have Friday night footy for the second time. Or let's say, second time. We have 78,027 fans packed at MCG for Footscray Bulldogs take on Collingwood Magpies. What actually clash that Footscray should won that game. But Collingwood, no, they just take it, know what to do. They're very good at the MCG, Collingwood, and they've done it for some time, especially this season so far. But it was unlucky for Footscray to get that win. They knew they were struggling against North Melbourne last week, and Collingwood just a bit better on the night. 6 points, though, scoring very, very close. You know, it was always going to end a nice 78,000 plus pack at the MCG, which is a really good effort. You know, thank you supporters of these two teams showing your pride of your team. Knowing this was actually a hard team to beat, and Collingwood just got the job done. And, there's going to be some interesting contest games. One team wants more than the other to get the win. But heads high, Footscray Bulldogs with next week, and as well Collingwood.
On the Friday night, it was Footscray versus Collingwood. And, Footscray, they had this game won and in the bag through most of the first half, and they really should have put up more of an effort in the second. This is one that got away from Footscray. They're going to have to find their way to improve. They barely hung on against North. They had that good start and blocked North out in that first quarter, and that got them over the line there. And again, they had a good start, but Collingwood probably just a grade above North Melbourne, just roll over them in the end. As for the Pies, absolutely great win, showing their mettle, getting on the board now. And, it's okay to take wins against, teams who you're smashing. Those are fine, but it's also good to have these wins where you show a bit of toughness, show a little bit of grit, and take a game over in the second half to get a victory. And Collingwood, they do that here. They go over the Dogs, they win by a goal. And, this is the sort of win that, we expect out of Collingwood. These tough, gritty wins. We know they're a strong side, they will blow away a lot of teams this year, but it's the tough, gritty wins that make Collingwood who they are. So look for them to get a couple more of those as the year progresses.
Okie Aidan, it's now time to share your Super Saturday footy as we head to the first game as the Essendon Bombers host their game as they do take on the Adelaide Crows. But before we get into those thoughts and reviews, I would like to share the intro of these three games and we'll get straight into it. So the first one is we do come to Super Saturday footy with three games to share. The first game will be at the MCG. Essendon host the Adelaide Crows. Then we head travelling down to Adelaide Oval, Port Adelaide host Richmond. Then the final game, Saturday night footy at Marble Stadium, it's the Saints and the Cats. Well, Aidan, it's time for your thoughts and reviews for the Bombers and the Crows. Take it away.
First game on the Saturday is Essendon versus Adelaide, and Essendon really just look out of sorts against some top quality sides. They put up 100 points, which is a very, very good effort by any stretch to put up three figures, but they allowed the Crows 161 at the MCG. Essendon, a team who I think probably will be a bottom four this year, looking at the way they're going. I just don't think they've got, that next step in them. Crows probably would have let off the gas, towards the end of the third quarter, in the final quarter, when they realised the game was well in their hands, and they allowed Essendon to put up that score, but still miles off contending with these top teams at home or away. We'll go into the Crows now. Crows, two strong starts to the year, but they beat St Kilda at home. We don't know about St Kilda. We'll get to them when it's their turn on the docket. Beat Essendon again, so they've got two wins against two teams, two people us going. They're probably not going to do too much, so we're going to have to see the Crows when they put up an effort against a team who are really in the fight to see what they're all about. So Crows, next couple of weeks, hopefully they're up to the task of having some stronger opposition to see where they really will fit in. As I always say, it takes that first 5 or 6 weeks to see everyone get a mix of bottom teams, mid teams and top teams to see who shakes out where.
Thanks, Aidan, for all your reviews and thoughts for the Bombers and the Crows, which I'm actually very proud. We are now back for Super Saturday footy, first game, as that's where we are. For the first time in a row, round 2 at the MCG. We had 46,688 were packed at the MCG. What should be really a 50,000, but that's a pretty good effort for these two teams. Now, it wasn't bad attendance at the MCG, and that's great. High scoring, which both teams love doing, but the MCG is even better. So, last episode, I did say that this was going to be a high scoring game. I didn't say what was the scores going to be, but I really think it was very much like that. I am very unsure with Essendon where they look on the ladder at this point. It looks like they're going to be in that bottom half, and really it's a bit hard to say. It looks like it's going to be like that. In my thoughts, they need to look strong next round. In round 3, they need to win. They need to perform. They look really good, then they get confident and really excited about them, but I'm very concerned with Essendon. With Adelaide Crows, well, the mighty Crows, my Adelaide Crows, well done on the win against Essendon, high scoring, and 161 points at MCG. That's 25 goals. It's absolute achievement. It's successful, and you don't do that in the MCG. Not in beautiful conditions, like beautiful conditions at the MCG on a Saturday afternoon. So well done, Adelaide, with the win. Heads up Essendon and play well in round 3 in your games. We come to the second Saturday Super Super Footy here on the Aussie Footy Show. We come to Inter Adelaide as Port Adelaide hosted Richmond Tigers. Big win by Port and a must response. And Richmond, it's the road to rebuild. As we all know that Richmond will bounce back, but how much they want to continue to success in the rebuilding part. Port needed to do this in front of their Port supporters, and they did not shock them at all with a great performance. With Richmond coming from a big win against Carlton last week at the MCG and then come to Adelaide on the road and get smashed, it's not a good sign at all. Not good at all. But Richmond will learn every week, every game. It was a big win, big loss, and getting smashed every week. They'll learn to receive the hard way to success. With the crowd attended was 37,342 supporters at the Adelaide Oval, which was okay crowd. But yeah, I think heads high, Richmond. I know you do well. It wasn't easy. You cannot score that bad and perform poor. But Port was just a better strong out, and Port Adelaide continue to improve each round. And best of luck with Port Adelaide and Richmond Tigers next round of their game. Aidan, it's now time for your thought of Port and the Tigers. Take it away.
Moving to the next game on Saturday, it's Port Adelaide versus Richmond, and this was another thumping. Port Adelaide going over the Tigers by 72 points, and this is a game where Richmond never looked settled, never looked in it. They got the fluke win over Carlton last week where they held them dead for the second half, but come to Adelaide they didn't look comfortable against Port. So Port Adelaide coming back from that loss to Collingwood, showing what they're made of as well. Port again, we just don't know where they are, because they got that big loss against Collingwood in week 1. Collingwood, a team who I think could be in that top 4. Richmond again, a bottom 4 side, probably will come last, even though they got a win in week 1. So Port, they got smashed by a top team, bashed a bottom team. They just looking to see where they fit in, and that's going to take a couple of weeks for the Tigers. This is probably a little bit of a shock to them. They were really up after last week against the Blues, and to have this result probably sets them back to a bit of grounding for them. It's unfortunate just looking at that 68 on the board. I think they probably know they should have done better. They probably know they could have done better, and really 68's not worth it for them. That's just disappointing. So they're going to go back this week and they're going to have to reassess. They are a young side. They're a team who are going to take some big losses, but definitely after that win against Carlton last week, probably were hoping for a little bit more.
We now head to the Saturday night footy. We only got one game at Marble Stadium. It's St Kilda Saints take on Geelong Cats. Aidan, it's now time for your thoughts for the Saints and the Cats. Take it away.
We'll go into Saturday night footy. Only one Saturday night game this week. It was St Kilda versus Geelong. St Kilda win by 7 points, 98-91. Good game by St Kilda. Jumped the Cats early and looked in control and comfortable throughout the most of that game. Geelong did come back at the end, nearly cut it to 3 points, but that was turned over on review as the boot that touched that footy was the boot of a St Kilda defender. When they thought Cats had it, they had it back to 3 points, and that's what sealed it there for the Saints. They win by 7 in the end. Geelong, they did have a big out late. Bailey Smith was a late out. I think Geelong probably know they could have done better than that, and that's probably a bit of a shock to them to come out there. Marvel lose to St Kilda. St Kilda, Marvel, very strong team at Marvel. Team who probably outperformed their level this past week against the Cats. I just don't know where St Kilda is. They're another team I don't know really where they are, because if they can put up that against some other top sides, then they might be in the mix. But then they had that big shock number against Adelaide in the first week of the year where they didn't look like they were doing too much. So they could be a bottom 4 team for me. They could be a second 4 team for me. They're not going to be, I don't think they're going to make finals, but definitely I see them as a bottom 4 or as a next 4 team. Geelong, again, Bailey Smith was a big out late. They should probably be doing better than that. They should have been more in that contest, and it just shows that one bad game and anyone can get you. So Geelong will be back next week, I guarantee that. And this is probably going to be something where they look at and go, well, we didn't have it our way, but we will come back and get everything righted next week.
Thank you, Aidan. Yes, for all your reviews with the Saints and the Cats. Yes, as Aidan said, one game on the Saturday night at Marble Stadium. As I said last episode on Aussie Footy Show, that St Kilda will bounce back. And boy, they did. It doesn't matter what Geelong had their best star. Yes, Bailey Smith, as Aidan mentioned, he did not play against St Kilda. It does not matter. You got to bring your best players on to the footy field, and St Kilda, they started well. They did not disappoint their supporters, and just like that, Well done. A big win. 7-point win. Just take it, enjoy it at the moment and respond and focus on next round. So, look, with Geelong, they did not start well, Geelong, and they did same thing with against Fremantle at one point. Fremantle just dominating that third quarter last round in Geelong. So I knew Geelong, this was not going to be always a strange game between the Saints and the Cats. They always find a way to be a low-scoring game, reasonable close, anything else, no matter what the score is. It was reasonable high scoring. Both teams, and like I said, I knew St Kilda will bounce back, as I'm going to say so many times. Yes, it was a bad loss against LA Crows at the LA Oval Sunday afternoon. It was the first hit, but they didn't have a lot. They had a lot of their players out and knew that St Kilda would have to find a way to show up some of their recruits to step up well, and they did not disappoint. But there's always two sides of these two clubs. One will play well and one will play bad. And it was St Kilda did that against a very good side like Geelong. But with St Kilda and Geelong, all the best for next game in round 3. So I do apologise for any inconvenience. I meant to share the crowd attenders for the Saints and the Cats at Marble Stadium for that Saturday night footy. It was 36,663 fans. Well done attending a big crowd, and thank you for your support of this game. We do come to Sunday afternoon footy, and we got a big blockbuster. We got first up Brisbane Lions as they host West Coast Eagles. What a game of the round in my thoughts at the gutter, as I mentioned. Then we travel back to Melbourne at Marble Stadium with North Melbourne take on their Melbourne Demons at Marble Stadium, and then back in Perth, Fremantle Doggers. They host Sydney Swan. So I'm going to now let and share the Brisbane and West Coast Eagles game. So I've got to say this was a very interesting game to watch, and I didn't really barely watch this game. It was actually a bit of I thought it was going to be not being creepy. I was going to say 20 goals. I thought it would be like a 10-goal easy win for Brisbane, but my goodness, you got to give credit, a 19-point win. 19, not 80, not 90, 19. 3 goals. Very, very brave for West Coast, and they got out early. No one saw this coming. 5-1 in the first quarter. Then 3 goals each for the second. It was Brisbane's turn to take over with 5-1. Same thing what West Coast did to Brisbane. And then it was a 5-2. So you got to give West Coast massive credit staying in that game, this whole game. And was pretty even, but Brisbane won it more in that second half. It wasn't disgusting in points, but more goals were kicked, which is great. But, I will now share the crowd attendance for this game, and it was 30,012 fans packed at the gutter. So I've got to say, that's a good crowd. It's a decent crowd from having to see the players. They win by 19 points against a bottom place we build in West Coast side. That's a damn good effort. And I gotta say, a heads up, well done to the Eagles travelling to Brisbane. Yeah, it's not great at home against Gold Coast, losing by 8 points or whatever it was the margin in the first game. But I know West Coast will bounce back, and they did. It's great. So that's my thoughts for that game. Alright, Aidan, I'm now going to let you share your thoughts for the Brisbane Lions and West Coast Eagles. Take it away.
Into the games on Sunday. First off, Brisbane Lions versus West Coast. West Coast jumped Brisbane early. Big opening quarter from the Eagles. Really looked like they were going to string the game along and take the win down at the Gabba, but unfortunately just couldn't hang on at the end of that third quarter in the final term. Brisbane running over and winning 94-75. West Coast, it shows they got quality, they got class to go away from home and put it to Brisbane. And I believe that, I've always said with West Coast that those young guys down there, Harley Reid, Ruben Gimby, and the veterans they got as well, really can show a bit of something on their day. And, it's just unfortunate they couldn't hang on. I thought they were right within a chance there and probably let that one slip through the net. Brisbane showing what premiers are made of. Go out there, take on West Coast, and you're behind, you're down, you come back. That's what premiers do. So Brisbane, big win for them. West Coast, one that probably slipped away from them. But in the end, probably a result that Brisbane were expecting to get a win, and they showed second half why they are the premiers, reigning defending, looking to repeat. The second game on Sunday was North Melbourne versus Melbourne. This game was real close in the first half, trading goals back and forth. The lead went through that first quarter and second quarter. North Melbourne second half much better than Melbourne's. Melbourne just run out of legs in the end. North beat them 125-66. This is a big win for a young North Melbourne side. This is a statement win for them, showing that, people thinking Melbourne could sneak into the 8, and, they've lost to GWS at the end, and they've just been run over by North. North Melbourne, very, very good win, very strong win for the Kangas down there. This is probably what I expect from North Melbourne. Get a few of these on the board. I think I said they're going to be probably in that 5 to 7 win range and in that next 4. That, going from reading up, they won't be a bottom 4 team for me. They're a next 4 team for me. And, this is a win that shows that they're right up there with them. Melbourne probably are a next 4 team for me as well. They're 0-2 to start the year after GWS and now this one. 2 very different losses, one snatched away from at the end, and one I just run out of legs. But Melbourne, I just think they've put all that investment into their midfield. Gorn, Oliver, Petraka, but they need a key forward because Fritsch isn't it, Van Rooyen isn't it, and the league's going in a way now where you definitely need a key forward to be able to compete in games. So Melbourne have to look at themselves in the mirror probably this year and go, we are probably a couple of pieces short, and if they want to contend again, they have to get those pieces in for 2026.
We do come to Sunday afternoon footy for the second game, and want to actually just see that, as Aidan mentioned, there was a lot of goals kicked in this game, and Demons should won it. North Melbourne want to win the first game, didn't happen. Back at Marble on the Sunday afternoon with some good attenders, which I will now share right as we speak, with 28,768 fans of North Melbourne. Congratulations on the win, North Melbourne, and they did it well. But it was Melbourne, they wanted to get a really good start, but just struggled in that last half. It was very even. Melbourne did what they need to do, but it wasn't enough. The start was Melbourne's fault. So what has happened to Melbourne? Aidan's mentioned this several times. They are going down as we speak as a premiership favourite, and it's a very concerning for Melbourne. And they've got a decent midfield like Protractor, Gorn, Oliver. They nowadays, as Aidan has also mentioned, key forward is the key in today's football, and that can be the backup as the ruckman in the forward. So look, I think North Melbourne, big wins. Wow. Now, in the last episode of the Aussie Footy Show, I went for North Melbourne, but I changed my mind with Melbourne. Now, you remember when I said Melbourne, they took out North Melbourne? That's because I went with Melbourne Demons. I was very sneaky, and I thought, I think Melbourne's got the job. They'll bounce back from that 3-point loss against GWS at the MCG. Come to Melbourne. Melbourne Demons do not play well at Marble, so they need to work on that, Melbourne. Heads up, Melbourne. North Melbourne, big win, bounce back. Best of luck against LA Crows, my mob. That'll be a good game Sunday afternoon. They will cover. They won't take it easy, North Melbourne. With Melbourne, look, they take on Gold Coast, a team that looks very strong. They got to get their big crowd, not having 23,000 MCG. Get a decent 45, 50,000 supporters there on a Saturday afternoon football. Support your mod and do well. Good luck for North Melbourne and Melbourne Demons, your teams. Aidan, it's now time for your thoughts for the final game, round 2, reviews and thoughts. Dockers and the Swans, take it away.
Final game on Sunday was the game of the round, the Dockers and the Swans from Optus Stadium. Fremantle coming off that big loss to Geelong, and Sydney come off the loss to the Brisbane Lions at the SCG. Fremantle, good start, strong start from the Dockers at home, showing what they're made of, showing that maybe that 78-point defeat to the Cats isn't all that they are able to do and all that they're capable of in the year. Sydney as well just struggled a little bit in that first half. First quarter definitely showed that they were behind a little bit, but they come back. Sydney do come back. They win the game 65-68, and it was really down to skill execution in those final few minutes. Freo leading with 6 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go. They make a couple of errors that Fremantle are prone to make in close games. And they can't hold on to another closely. They lose to the Swannies. Sydney, they do make those execution. They do make that execution. They go over the top of Fremantle in the end. Save their skin, save their Swannies. They're going to be back in this hunt now. This is a game for me where the loser was in a real bit of trouble. Fremantle is that team. They're in a real bit of trouble now going into round 3. Sydney get the monkey off their back. Dean Cox gets his first win as a head coach at AFL level, and they will look to start to rebuild their season and start to fire on all cylinders and be a really strong Sydney team who can really contend for a premiership.
Final game Sunday afternoon football. There's 43,882 to their Fremantle Doggers supporters and the Sydney Swans pack Optus Stadium for the final game, and that is where we are right now. My thoughts and reviews and restrictions of this game, mainly it's just reviews and thoughts. And what a game I and Aidan thought this was game of the round, and you can't say too much from Fremantle. Started strong, came out firing, 4 goals zip. Then Sydney's turn to kick 3 goals to 1. Then it was coming into the third quarter. Sydney took control of that third quarter and the last quarter. But Fremantle just couldn't hold on. They were in front this whole game. But it was the last couple minutes. Sydney hold on. Congratulations, Stincox, as head coach at Sydney Swans. Fremantle just slip one out. And you can't, you're in front all day and you had the advantage in front of your supporters to not get this job done. You cannot have that again. They in more trouble and very concerned with Fremantle, because they got the Western Derby next week. It's going to be a good contest. Surely they'll come and bounce back, but West Coast, they'll find a way to get their first win on the board. And with West Coast, they've got a decent side, West Coast. It look very exciting at this point, but I just think West Sydney, big win. This is what, why they were a good team last year. And, 3 losses into 1.1 win and 2 losses. So it makes sense now. Sydney are back on track. It's a win. Take it. Congratulations. Fremantle heads up. Play well next week in the Western Derby. Sydney as well. Hopefully you'll do well in front of your Sydney Swans supporters as they take and enjoy your first bye since the opening round. So that's my thoughts and reviews for round 2. I'll let now Aidan to share all the games for round 3 with having Collingwood and Sydney having their week off. So Saka saying 8 games will happen, and then very exciting, getting one step away from having 9 games. That's it, but we've got a couple more rounds from 8 games. So now, Aidan, I'll let you now share the nets, your reviews and predictions for round 3. Take it away then. Myself as BJ will finish it up and with my predictions for round 3. So Aidan, take it away.
Alright, let's get straight into round 3. So first game of round 3, Thursday night, Essendon versus Port Adelaide. Now this is a game both of these sides need to show a bit of toughness and a little bit of fight. Port Adelaide, we don't know who they are, we don't know where they are. Essendon, same. So I can say the same thing for both of these teams. Both these sides need to show something on this game to see where they are. If Port are really in the mix, they've got to smash Essendon, and I mean really smash them. Go out there and put another 10-goaler on them. Essendon, same time, they just need to get something. Even if they keep it close, it'll be pretty good for them, for the Bombers down there, just to see where they're sitting, because they've had a couple of really big games, really tough opposition the first couple of rounds. Hawthorn, then Adelaide, so it's going to be tough for them if they don't get a win here. They're going to be 0-3 and they're going to be really out of the race in a genuine bottom 4 contender. I'm going to go with Port Adelaide by 10 goals. Friday night footy, the Blues and Footscray. This is a game where Carlton are the team who have to show some fight. Doggies, I think we know who the Doggies are now. They're going to be a tough, gritty team to dislodge. North Melbourne couldn't do it 2 weeks ago. Collingwood could this week. It's going to be one of those games where Carlton are going to be the ones having to fight to stay. I think Carlton, if they get the numbers, they will have a chance here. Doggies are coming in favourites at the line at the moment, but Carlton's got to show a bit of fight. They want to be a real serious team, because Carlton going 0-3, that could pretty much be season over for them. Doggies, a good win here again sets them up. I don't think Doggies are going to be a top 4 team. We don't know yet. Long way to go in the year. Definitely see them as a second 4 team in the top 8. In that 5 to 8 spot. So a good win here for the Doggies, and they could be in a right position to set themselves up for later in the year. Moving on to Saturday. First up, it's Melbourne versus Gold Coast at the MCG. And I think this is going to be Melbourne. Melbourne are going to want to come out and show a little bit of what they're made of. They lost the first one in a close game, blew out last week to North. It's got to be them. It has to be them. They don't have a choice. It's do or die now for Melbourne. I know it's only week 3, but if they're going to be in that second 4. They're going to be in that second 4. They've got to be contending in these games. Gold Coast, big win in their first game against West Coast. Show up again here. Could get a win. Get a win here. They're 2-0 away. Much better than they were all of last year. So Gold Coast get a win here. They're right in the mix for finals. I'm going to go despite that, I'm going to go Melbourne. St Kilda versus Richmond. While it hasn't got the big names of the other clubs, this is a really interesting contest. St Kilda, a team who are coming off that win over the Cat down at Marvel. They're back at Marvel this week against the Tigers. I think St Kilda, if they play well and they play like they did against the Cats, they get over the line here. Richmond, if they play like they played against the Blues, they get over the line here. So it's which one of these teams show up. If neither of those teams show up, I think St Kilda just edge it. Just edge it. But these two teams, if Richmond get 2 wins or St Kilda get 2 wins, they're probably going to be looking at going, hang on. We could get next 4 here. We could definitely be in the next 4 come season's end, because a good start sets you up well for a good finish. With that said, I'm going to take St Kilda. Brisbane versus Geelong. This was the game that was postponed due to the Cyclones in opening round. Brisbane and Geelong, 2 heavyweights of the competition, 2 stalwart finalists in the AFL. The reigning premiers versus a team who are always on the hunt for a premiership. Brisbane team going in probably just ahead. They are ahead of the line. But Geelong, you know what the Cats are like. They're a strong side. They're going to put everything they have in it. And they've shown that they can go without Tom Hawkins up forward. It's going to take a bit of time, but I think by now, week 3, we could see a little bit of progress from them. Brisbane will go in and do business as usual down at the MCG, at the Gabba. They dispatched West Coast last week. They closed out West Coast. Geelong a little bit shaky last week against St Kilda, so Geelong need to show up a little bit more. I'm going to go Brisbane here. First versus third. Hawthorn versus GWS on the second Saturday night game. This is a tough one to call at University of Tasmania Stadium. Well, that makes it a little bit easier. Hawthorn down in Tasmania. They love it down there. GWS, it's going to be tough for them. They do like smaller grounds. They play at NG Stadium where it's a little bit lower capacity, and that helps me out a lot. Hawthorn, I think Hawthorn could go 4-0 here. I genuinely do. The mosquito feet's going to fly. They're going to have matchups all over the ground they can exploit against GWS. GWS, I think also, those key matchups, whoever exploits them and wins them does win this game. Toby Green flying well. The mosquito fleet for Hawthorn doing well. The Smalls are going to be the ones doing the damage in this game, but I think Hawthorn just go over the line. They go 4-0. We go into Sunday now. Adelaide versus North Melbourne. Second on the ladder, Adelaide versus 8th place North Melbourne. Crows very strong, but again, they've played 2 teams who I don't think are going to amount to too much come end of the season. So this is going to be their first real tester. Can they put up a number like they did against St Kilda, like they did against Essendon, against North? I don't think they can. I think it's going to be a much, much closer game. North is showing a bit of fight this year, and I would love to see it out of them. Although my trainer at the gym loves it because he gets to punish me over it because he goes for North. But that doesn't matter. We won't worry about that. North Melbourne got to show a little bit of fight going to Adelaide. This is their first real test away. Can this young, improving North side, led by guys like Luke Davies-Uniacke and Harry Sheasel with Nick Larkey up forward, can they take on the Crows? They're going to be right in it, I reckon. I think Adelaide just stronger at home. There are Crows to come in for the Crows. Neil Bullen's coming for the Crows. Thilthorpe's continuing to develop. Fogarty's continuing to develop. Crows are starting to take that. The team turnover now is starting to become what it should have been a couple of years ago. And when these next generation of Crows are coming through, Rankin as well. So Crows, very strong position there. I think they go over North here. Not as comfortable as they have been the last couple of weeks though. Final game for round 3 is the Western Derby. It's the Eagles and the Dockers. Both these teams need to get off the mark. 18th place West Coast plays 17th place Fremantle in a game that really could sink or swim both of these sides. West Coast going in, trying to be a hothead team, trying to stir up things, might be their new MO. We know this game's always heated and that could go it in West Coast's favour. But the Dockers are probably just so much stronger. They've got recruits, they've got Bolton to come in for the side. They're starting to show a premiership contender on paper. But Fremantle, we know, choke artists, no showers, it never happens for them. So they got to take that premiership on paper and convert it into wins in the real world. Fremantle, I think, will take this one quite comfortably. I think they're going to win by 6-7 goal here. Good win for the Dockers to get their season started. And that is all we have for round 3. Thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you, Aidan, for all your reviews, restrictions for round 3, as well your round 2 thoughts and reviews. Hope you all enjoy Aidan's and BJ's round 2 reviews and thoughts. Now it's BJ's time, and I've got to say there's always a hard game in the interway hard tipping in. Port Adelaide has a lot of injuries coming through, but do they have enough strength to beat Essendon at Marble Stadium? Good. Hopefully we'll get a decent 40,000 fans in front of the Bombers and the power the other SA team, Port Essendon Bombers, will take on. But look, it's in Melbourne. Essendon should bounce back. I think they'll have a better position. I should go for Port because the way they found a way to win against Richmond. But I'm going to have to say with Essendon with this game, I don't know why I want to go with Essendon. It's just really difficult. I think it'll be a good game to watch. It is favourite $2.28 Essendon, $2.63 Port Adelaide, but that doesn't mean anything in my thoughts. But Thursday night, it's good to have two refreshing teams back at Marble Stadium instead of back-to-back Thursday nights MCG. So I'm going with Essendon. Now we go to the second, and we have a few games at Marble this round in round 3, and it's the Blues and the Bulldogs. Both teams, well, one struggling to the other, and I think I'm going for with the Western Bulldogs with this game, and they are $1.81 favourite to $2.04, so it's very even in that. But Carlton got to have to start really thinking about how much they want to win this. They got a decent team to put on the footy field, but Western Bulldogs play better against a team like Collingwood on a Friday night. So I think the better favourite is the Bulldogs, and that's who I'm going for. We go to Super Saturday Football, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Let me just get that correction. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 games. There we go. So the first one, we are only one game at the MCG, and it's the Demons against the Suns as the Suns took off the bye. Now I'm 100% going with the Gold Coast Suns for this game, as they play so well on the road into Perth, as they're from travelling from Gold Coast, Queensland. And I think with Melbourne struggling, got embarrassed, 59-point loss against the absolutely the amazing proven North Melbourne team that Alison Clarkson's on so well with. And I think Melbourne Demons just got so much, don't know what's going on. They love playing at the MCG Melbourne, but let's just hopefully it will be a much better attendance. Instead of 23,000 at the MCG, it'll be hopefully better, 30, but hopefully it'll be 45,000 in my advice. But my prediction is Gold Coast, and they are clear favourites from $1.81 to $2.04. Very similar to the, well, basically it is from the Bulldogs and Blues game. We come to the second Saturday game of Super Football. It's the Saints and the Tigers, and both teams, it's all favourite to the Saints, $1.33 to $4.22. They're Richmond Tigers now back at the Marble Stadium, and for the third time in round 3. And I'm going to say I'm going really strong to St Kilda with this game. I think they did so well against Geelong. They never gave up, which Richmond got smashed. They'll bounce back. They'll do be in the contest, but can they run out to St Kilda? Never know what can happen with Richmond. They find a way to be some magic, and I think St Kilda for my game. And hopefully it'll be a good, decent crowd, very similar to the Thursday and Friday night games. Well, speaking of night time, Saturday double header Super Saturday Night Football, and we head to back in Brisbane, back-to-back home games for the Lions, and they take on Geelong Cats. Now, this is going, obviously, I would like to go, and the only team I had to go for is Geelong, but unfortunately, disappointing performance against Nobody Smith against the Saints. Well, Geelong should surely won that game. They were favourites to win that game last week against the Saints at Marble Stadium. Now they travel to Brisbane. Now, the last time these two play with Geelong getting the job done. Now, favouritism is obviously Brisbane. The Premiers, they should get the job done, and that's who I'm going for. They are $1.47 Brisbane Lions to $2.70, and all of that was Sportsbet in front of me on the AFL app. So, look, it's wet or dry, doesn't matter. Get a good crowd. They'll get 30 to 35,000 again at the Gabba, and hopefully the Premiers of Brisbane Lions get the job done over Geelong Cats. We come to the second doubleheader, and we head to Launceston in Tasmania as the University of Tasmanian Stadium at Hawthorn host the Giants. Now, this is clear favourite favourite with $1.47 to $2.68, the Giants. So the Hawks is who I would like to go with. They are the top team at the moment and first place after, including the opening round, first round and second round. They are not yet to lose a game, and hopefully they'll perform well. With the Giants, coming off that bye, they'll be refreshed. They'll be looking what Hawthorn has done this round 2 that's gone, and how much they can enjoy that as well, as they did play Carlton at the MCG. They now head down to Tasmania, so I'm going for the Hawks for that game. Super Sunday afternoon football. We only got the 2 games. We have Collingwood and Sydney. Enjoy your week off. So, Adelaide, good strong start. Big wins against the Saints at home in front of a 45,000 plus at the Adelaide Oval. Should be another sold out crowd against the improved North Melbourne. Now, this is a massive favourite for the Adelaide Crows, $1.13 to North Melbourne, $6.05. So, it's going to be a really interesting contest, and I got to say, well done to North Melbourne. Big winners. They're not going to take it easy, and it shouldn't be like that. Now, I know Adelaide were favourites like that, and they lost the game, and that was against Richmond. So, don't ever look like North Melbourne look like, they're still not that good. Don't ever face that, because Adelaide, be ready to be in that contest, and I know you'll do well with that. Stay focused, don't take any team lightly, and North Melbourne, they'll come to Adelaide, and they'll find a way to really put on a good performance. But with Adelaide, another big win against Essendon at MCG. Big win, big score, 25 goals. Adelaide back where they belong. They have not done that for 8 seasons since Don Pike coached the Adelaide Crows. They look very good, Adelaide, and know they're going to be a good team. I've got to say, with North Melbourne, they'll come to Adelaide, they'll do their best, but I think Adelaide will get the job done quite nicely, and that's who are obvious I've gone for. And the final game, to make it just to wrap things up, it's West Coast and Fremantle. Fremantle the tip, $1.25 as sports bet to the Fremantle Dogs, $4. So West Coast are not unfavourites. They did so well against Brisbane, and good effort to Sydney, to the Fremantle Doggers over against Sydney. So I think this will be a very good game to watch. I think it'll be very good. Western Dovers always have a good contest, but it's going to be a fun one to watch. And as I mentioned, the mighty Pies and the Swans having the week off. So just the crowd scenes up. I'm just going to run through after the opening round and after round 2 of the AFL Premiership Ladder 2025 after the second round, with West Coast with no wins 59%, with Fremantle no wins 62.3%, Essendon no wins 68.0%, Melbourne Demons same thing, no wins 69.3%, Carlton no wins 79.6%, Richmond 4.71.8%, St Kilda 1 win 75.2%, Port Adelaide 1 win 90.7%, Sydney 1 win 91.5%, Western Bulldogs Footscray 105.8%, North Melbourne 1 win 124.0%, Geelong Cats 1 win 142.5%, Gold Coast 1 win 277.6%, Brisbane 2 wins 114.6%, Collingwood 2 wins 120.5%, GWS Giants 2 wins 143.7%, Adelaide Crows 2 wins 172.1%, and the top of the ladder, Hawthorn Hawks with 3 wins 129.9%. Now I want to let you know that I did not regard to those losses. I'm only going by the 4 points from that win. So there you have it. Well done to Gold Coast with the highest percentage to the LA Crows in second, and Hawthorn on top after round 2. That is all now. Hope you all enjoyed the another episode, the longest episode of the Aussie Footy Show. Hope you all enjoy it. And thank you, Aidan, for your reviews from round 2, prediction round 3, and as well BJ Shan down after round 2, the AFL ladder. Stay tuned for more exciting content such as the big, I had that exciting news to come through, and it's here. We are on the way, couple episodes away. Keep your eye out. We got a very special announcement, and that is we got 100th episode coming out soon, so keep your eye out for that. Make sure you share that. That will be all over my social medias. It's Instagram, the BJ Jarrett, Ben Jarrett Facebook page, the BJ Show Facebook page, and as well, obviously, the BJ Show podcast Facebook page. All on social media. Get around that and make sure get some huge downloads. Alright guys and ladies and gents, boys and girls, the BJ Show's out for now. Thanks for listening. Peace out. Bye for now.